Hi, welcome back to my channel. Quick recap. Today, I am going to explain the Blackout movie. That is a science fiction film. Watch out and take care. On a day, Oleg and Alyona are on a date in Moscow. Oleg tells Alyona that he's a soldier and on a 2-week of break. They have a good time and end up spending the night together. At the same time in Paris, a plane is about to land when suddenly all the lights turn off, and everyone on the plane falls unconscious. This happens to all places around the world, except for a small part of Eastern Europe. Oleg and Alyona notice that the drones that flies around Moscow stop moving, and they go to the hotel lobby to find out what's happening. Everyone in the building gathers in the lobby to hear the news. The news anchor explains that what happened was not caused by a natural disaster, and that they initially thought it might be a terrorist attack, but they later discovered that they had lost contact with the rest of the world. A group of soldiers, led by Mayor Dolmatov, is sent on a mission to Kirov, one of the many cities that are in darkness. Journalist Olga goes with them to report on any clues they may find. The government has already sent drones to this area, but none of them have returned. The team goes to Kirov and uses special slime lights to look around a store. They find that everyone in the store, including the fish, is dead. They don't know how they died because there are no signs of an attack, and everything looks normal. They start to look around different apartments and find that everything is in its place as if no one even touched them. It's like people disappeared out of nowhere in the air. Suddenly, one of the soldiers is attacked by something unknown being. The team tries to help the soldier who was attacked, but the being takes their weapon from soldiers and escapes through the window. The team shoots at the being, but it doesn't seem to be affected by the bullets and runs away. They take the injured soldier to their plane and ask if he saw the attacker's face, but he said it was too dark and he couldn't see anything clearly. A month later, more than 100 million Russians are considered dead, and the government asks the remaining population to remain calm. Religious groups believe that the end of the world is coming, and some people are getting letters to join the army, including Yura, who lives with his mother who has Alzheimer's. Yura decides to join the army despite not wanting to leave his mother behind in pain. When he leaves for the army base, he sees that the world has become post-apocalyptic in just 1 month. Yura joins Oleg's team, and they are informed about the current situation by Dolmatov and Colonel Marina. All the cities in darkness are under quarantine, and the only places with power are Moscow, parts of Belarus, Ukraine, and Finland. This area is called the Circle of Life. Some teams have returned with dead bodies, and it's been discovered that they died from chemicals produced by the human body called endogenous neurotoxins. While everyone is getting ready, more volunteers comes, and Oleg is surprised to see Alyona with them in their team. Suddenly, an alarm goes off, alerting them of an incoming attack. A group of huge enemies is approaching the soldiers' base, so the soldiers gather at the border between the base and the quarantine zone. Suddenly, the power at the base goes out, and the soldiers begin to shoot flares for better visibility. When the strange beings get close enough, the soldiers open fire, but some of these beings still manage to reach the base and attack everyone in sight, causing Oleg to lose consciousness. The next morning, Oleg awakens to find himself burdened by the dead body of an enemy. Yura becomes aware that Oleg has survived and requests assistance in relocating the body, and Oleg comes to the realization that the strange being was, in fact, a massive bear. There are many bear bodies on the other side of the border and nobody knows why they acted that way. Olga, as a journalist, is there also recording everything. Oleg is wounded and taken to the hospital, where he is surprised to find out that Alyona is a doctor. When Oleg feels pain, she takes care of Oleg's injuries and they share a kiss. Meanwhile, Marina and Dolmatov discuss sensors, a group of people who supposedly gained powers after the blackout. Marina clarifies some people gained the ability to receive data in their minds like radios receive signals, and they are called sensors. However, nobody knows how this happened or how to decipher the data they receive. The strongest sensor is Sasha, who is being kept in a military hospital, and since the blackout, he keeps having nightmares about a mysterious bald guy. One day, he is visited by someone named Genya who says he was sent by ID, someone named. Genya explains that, the initial wave caused complete electronic destruction, the subsequent wave triggered the automatic annihilation of all living organisms, and the third wave will result in the individuals who are still alive in the quarantine zone being to launch an attack against them. Sasha doesn't believe him and calls for security, but the soldiers can't see Genya and tell the doctor that Sasha is experiencing hallucinations. The soldiers prepare for a mission. Yura ends up travel with Olga, and during their journey, she asks him some questions for the camera. Yura says he doesn't mind the situation and that it's better than being a taxi driver because it has given his life meaning. When the soldiers reach the quarantine zone, they see that the tanks are destroyed and there is a large gap in the buildings. This suggests that the third wave has already hit. The footage of the destruction causes panic among the people, leading to riots and increased crime. The government assures people that they are working on a solution, but peoples believe they are hiding something. The soldiers split up into different groups to cover more area. Yura and Olga belong to Group 7, and as they traverse the woods, a playful and suggestive atmosphere begins to build between them, indicating mutual romantic interest or attraction. Oleg joins Team 4, who is investigating a small town. One of the soldiers in Team 4 opens a storage room, which results in a bunch of metal bars falling on top of him and injuring his leg. The team rested inside a house until a doctor arrived, and the next morning, Ali-1 arrived and announced that the injured soldier would have to return to Moscow with her to avoid losing his leg. Meanwhile, Group 7 spent the night in an apartment and during breakfast, Yura noticed something strange about a store. Yura checks Olga's recording and notices something strange about a store. They investigate and find evidence that someone was there. They decide to set up traps and return to the apartment to wait for the traps to activate. But the traps don't activate until nightfall. They get ready to leave apartment and goes towards the traps. Yura requests that Olga remain inside and instructs her on how to use flares to signal for assistance if they fail to return. But Olga disobeys Yura and follows the team to record what happens. They find a wounded teenager inside the store who they take back to the apartment to help. However, the boy reacts by stealing a knife and killing one of the soldiers. The others shoot him down in response. In the meantime, Sasha decides to get some fresh air on the rooftop of the hospital. Suddenly, he gets frightened by the appearance of ID, the person that Genya had told him about. Genya was only a mental connection, but ID is real who is present there. ID requests Sasha's assistance and to prove that he knows about the situation, ID reveals his face and discloses that he is not a human being. At the moment Marina shows up with a group of soldiers and they point their weapons at ID. However, ID uses his mental powers to make the soldiers see Marina as ID and him as Marina, so they turn their weapons on Marina instead. ID tells Marina not to try anything. ID tells Marina that he is not human, but rather an entity that humans would consider a god. He warns her that many others like him are coming to destroy humanity. Marina takes ID to her office to question him further. ID clarifies that his mission was to commence a process of irradiation when the moon was positioned over the oceans. However, he made an error as the moon was covering the European region where they currently are, which resulted in the area being shielded from the radiation. ID explains, that's how the circle of life phenomenon occurred. Everyone in the quarantine zone is just like a mindless drones who will soon attack anyone in the area. ID's need of a new planet to inhabit as their original home star is dying out. They require a new world with a sun to survive and thrive, and Earth fits their criteria. He reveals that there was a wave 0 thousands of years ago, which was the human race. The aliens sent the human race as a bioweapon to destroy the native population of planet Earth. They were the previous native people, who were much more developed, built the pyramids and underwater cities. ID reveals that humans were actually created as a bioweapon sent by his alien race to destroy the native population of planet Earth. According to ID, humans are ideal bioweapons as they possess traits of being colonizers and destroyers. Additionally, humans share significant genetic similarities with ID's species, except that humans lack any psychic abilities. Due to an unplanned radiation, some people like Sasha are starting to regain psychic abilities. A military force from ID's planet is scheduled to arrive on Earth the following day, but ID's brother RA is already present on Earth. ID doesn't agree with his brother's methods and wants to find him, but the only one who knows his location is Sasha, thanks to his dreams. Meanwhile, all the teams are unexpectedly assaulted by mind control humans. The soldiers try to defend themselves by opening fire, but the enemy comes in huge numbers and fights back fiercely, killing most of the teams. They run out of ammo and are forced to retreat. After the apartment they were sheltering in explodes, Yura urges Olga to signal for assistance using a flare. However, numerous other teams are also sending out distress signals, and there may not be enough resources to rescue everyone. The few remaining members of Group 7 have to wait on the roof of a building to stay out of the attackers' reach for now. Marina, Genya, Sasha, and ID were traveling to the base when they were interrupted by a message informing Marina of the attack. During the trip, ID explains that he's immortal as long as nobody decides to kill him. They arrived at the base and Sasha was put in a trance by ID to locate Ra's whereabouts. They found out that RA is in a skyscraper in Kirov. ID wants to mobilize the remaining troops immediately, but Dolmatov is hesitant to trust him when he sees ID's appearance. A soldier tells Marina that Moscow is also under attack, so Marina convinces Dolmatov to trust ID. Meanwhile, in Group 7, they decide to climb down the building to look for teams that haven't sent flares. As Olga is hesitant, Yura kisses her to ease her fears. Afterward, he assists her in descending safely. While walking through the streets, the soldiers come across a few civilians and shoot them before trying to talk to them. Olga is feeling unhappy because they looked okay, but Yura reminded her that a teenage boy also looked okay at first. Shortly after, a new wave of droned humans attacks them and kills all the other soldiers. But Yura alone fights them off. At last Yura wins and gets injured. They hide in a garage and tend to Yura's injury. They find a car with gas and keys to use to escape. Sasha decides to stay behind as he fears that RA saw him during the vision. Marina notices that Sasha is missing when Dolmatov's team leaves in the tanks. She makes everyone stop and soon after, the base is attacked by a series of rockets that blow it up. Marina points her gun at ID, blaming him for knowing about the attack, and ID admits to it. If Sasha had been with the team, they would have lost the war and everyone would have died. Yura and Olga found Oleg and Alyona the following morning. The other team was also low on ammo and had lost many members. Dolmatov's team found them shortly after and asked them to come along on a mission to kill RA. Since there was no base to send them to, Olga and Alyona had to come along. Hours later, the team reached Kirov. Dolmatov is shocked that they are not under attack, and ID tells him that RA thinks he died at the base. However, the roads are obstructed by the mind-controlled people, and some of them are jumping from high places with explosives. The army decides to move forward with the tanks and eliminate any enemies who comes in their way or stop them. When they reach the tall building, ID leads Yura and some soldiers to the roof, while the rest stay near the entrance to protect it. During the fight on the rooftop, Oleg takes the civilians upstairs to keep them safe. After killing all the enemies inside, ID and the soldiers meets RA. Yura tries to attack RA, but RA easily throws him off the edge of the rooftop. ID and RA start fighting and are evenly matched. However, when Yura returns to the rooftop and a big explosion happens on the street, RA gets distracted. ID takes advantage of the situation and directly attacks RA, removing a device from his body. Yura throws a grenade into Ra's body after ID removed a device from inside him. This kills RA and ID is able to release all the controlled humans with his powers. He declares that their next move is to destroy the aliens who are coming in the spaceship, as it's the made only for humans to kill. Genya asks why ID didn't warn them about this earlier, and Alyona and Marina express their objections to ID's use of humans. ID says he is the god humans deserve, and Genya attacks him with a knife. However, ID uses his powers to make Genya kill Marina instead. Oleg gets angry and tries to attack ID, but Yura defends him and explains that they need ID to protect them from the upcoming invasion. Oleg and Yura start fighting each other. Olga gets upset seeing Yura beating up Oleg, and shoots Yura to stop him. Genya attempts to attack ID with a knife, but ID quickly stops him easily. Oleg tries to shoot ID, but the bullets don't affect him. ID uses his abilities to make Oleg perceive everyone as his own father, which makes him pause and become uncertain. Genya, being a sensor, is able to locate the real ID and he jumps towards him, intending to bring him down with him. They both die as soon as they touch with the ground. Suddenly, a massive spaceship lands on nearby buildings. Oleg takes the device ID had taken from RA and decides not to harm Yura. He leaves with the women. After collecting weapons from the dead bodies, the three individuals enter the spaceship. The door opens for them because the spaceship is anticipating the arrival of RA. The spaceship door opens automatically as it was waiting for RA. Inside the spaceship, they find hundreds of aliens sleeping in pods. Oleg activates the device, and oxygen begins flowing into the pods. It appears that RA was meant to awaken the aliens, as indicated by the timer on the pods which shows that they will be ready soon. The trio tries to shoot at them but realizes they don't have enough ammo or time to kill them all. Olga sees that the pipes carrying oxygen to the aliens are on the floor. They realize that by destroying one pipe, they can kill many aliens at the same time. So they start destroying every pipe they find, which stops the alien invasion effectively. Aliona is hesitant to destroy the last pipe because she sees that there are children in the remaining pods. As the children start leaving their pods, Oleg drops his weapon and refuses to harm them because they are innocent. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoy the movie.